Hey, everybody, this is Darren Sabader again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dicus, Christian Babcock, and Nathan Canilau. Guys, we're going into week 14 now. 14, only 2 left after this one. It's section championship weekend across the Bay Area, NCS, CCS. And we had obviously 2 championship games last week that we'll touch on a little bit before we move forward, but we got a lot of good games coming up this week, so we'll be picking 9 games. The race for first place is definitely tightened as Christian keeps making small steps, small gains, and look where he is. 1 game back, Christian. You're going to be the first rookie to win this thing.
Really? I was not aware that had not been done.
Yeah, I think Nathan's also a rookie, but he's got a little bit of work to do to make the catch up here in the last 3 weeks. Joseph, in his 3rd season, keeps sinking into.
I'm just like the Charlotte Hornets. I'm just trying to be entertaining. It's not really about winning. It's just putting out an entertaining product for the people.
But you did get the big win last week, picking
That's
Los
right.
Gatos over Reardon.
I did.
Nathan was on the Los Gatos bandwagon against Sarah, and then he jumped off it for the Reardon game.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that.
Should not have done that. No. Before we move forward, Christian, you were at a couple of big games last week. Let's start with the SI St. Francis game. St. Francis will be back in action this week against Los Gatos because it lost the CCS Open Division Championship game to St. Ignatius. I don't think any of us had St. Ignatius being the number 1 team out of the CCS to start the season. Christian, you've seen St. Ignatius a number of times. How do you explain what they've been able to achieve this fall?
Yeah, I got 3 words for you. And if you've watched this show all season, you've heard them before. And they are second half SI. They just keep doing it. They are a team that can be at times puzzling to watch, confusing, frustrating. They can struggle to get things going. But all year, when it's mattered the most, they've come through, except in that first regular season matchup to St. Francis. But this time, the weather was awful. Offense was beyond a struggle. I'd categorize it as almost impossible. But, when it came through at the end, now there was a controversial pass interference call, which, various people can debate the merits of. I didn't have the greatest angle on it. Obviously, it was raining all over the place. But, they took advantage of the opportunity. They got that late touchdown, and they did it again. So second half SI carried them all the way to a CCS Open Division Championship. So congrats to them.
First one since 2012 when they beat Bellarmine in overtime in a game that I covered. So you saw that game, and then the next day you go up to Reardon, and you're not sure. We all thought Reardon was on a roll, but Los Gatos. That is, how do you explain Los Gatos? They the last couple of years have just been more than that. It's just consistency is probably the best way to describe Los Gatos, at least from my end. How would you describe it, having been there on Saturday?
I will use a word that Mark Crail mentioned in his post-game speech, which is brotherhood. That's a team that is not, going against Reardon. They had a pretty significant size disadvantage, especially on the lens. They just hung in there. It felt sort of like Reardon, we talk about their explosive offense. Los Gatos was just trying to keep a lid on it the whole game, and it felt like the lid might pop off at any time. But they kept it on long enough. They got a turnover late, and then at the end of the game, they got the game-winning touchdown. So great game plan by their staff. Really well-played game. It was a really fun game to watch and be a part of. So congrats to Los Gatos.
Yeah, defensive coordinator had a heck of a game, slowing down that Reardon attack, which obviously has so much D1 talent. Very impressive, and now they get St. Francis on Friday night. Before we start looking ahead, Joseph, you and I were also in a rainstorm on Friday night to see Pittsburgh almost beat De La Salle. It reminded me so much of last year's San Ramon Valley De La Salle championship game, except obviously much more rain in in Friday's game than last year's. But both of those games, De La Salle trailed 7-3 going to the fourth quarter, and we almost had identical scores. I mean, if Kelly doesn't, if his knee doesn't
down
at the 1 yard line in the last 2 minutes of the game, that score would have also been 17-7, just like last year's. And instead, De La Salle takes a knee at the 1 3 times to run out the clock and won 10-7. I was extremely impressed with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the smartest, best. I mean, they were every bit the formidable team that people thought they were going to be throughout the season. And then, kind of the scores weren't as impressive down the stretch, but they proved a lot to me.
They were through 3 quarters. They were the better team. And there was really, I mean, as you can read in our game stories in your column, they had multiple chances in the red zone in the 3rd and 4th quarters. You kept waiting, right? We were like, oh, this is when Pittsburgh's going to score a touchdown. They're going to be up 14-3, and it's going to be wraps. And there were fumbles, turnover on downs. The weather was like you said, the weather was terrible the whole night. But I came away with this from this game. Obviously impressed with the De La Salle was able to pull out a win. They, pretty much handled every other opponent on their schedule, except for St. Mary's of Stockton. This was their first test in weeks. They passed the test. And then for Pittsburgh, I'd like to apologize to the Pittsburgh program. To quote Shaq, I was not familiar with your game. I will not be picking against the Pirates from here on out. They looked like they had a claim to be, the best team in the NCS. And I thought they were going to raise that trophy after, 30-something minutes of play. I was like, oh, wow, Pittsburgh, they got it. And then De La Salle does what De La Salle does.
Right. I thought coming out of halftime that the game would turn, when Pittsburgh got the ball, I was thinking that De La Salle would get a quick stop. Instead, it was like a
8-minute drive,
8-minute drive for Pittsburgh. And you're thinking, oh boy, it's now going to be 14-3. Instead, there's a fumble.
When Alcantara had that scramble on, was it 3rd and 15 or something, and he scrambled away, I was like, oh man, it's getting serious now. But no, instead, De La Salle is going to play probably Modern Day, although Modern Day still got to get past Bosco, but they beat Bosco
handily. It looked like for a long time there that Nathan was going to have the pick of the year. Nathan, as you're watching Bishop O'Dowd take care of Liberty, he had to be feeling pretty good for most of that game. Looking at wondering when's the score going to be updated? It was 7-3 for a long time.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't check my phone until halftime of my game at Bishop O'Dowd, and I think Christian quote tweeted me, and I just saw the score, and I was like, wow, 7-3, that's pretty good. And I just hear from you guys. It looked like some De La Salle parents were looking for me after I made that pretty big pick last week. So I think I was impressed with Pittsburgh. I kind of expected them to be in this. It looked like from what you guys are telling me, like they were right there. But also props to De La Salle. I mean, they pulled it out in the biggest of moments, and they've been doing it now for since 92. So it's been. Yeah, that's just that's just a testament to their program, and but I am very impressed with Pittsburgh. I think, I wouldn't want to play Pittsburgh the next 3 weeks. I think they're fired up. I think they probably believe that they should have won that game. So I think whoever is going to play them from now on, it should be on high alert. It's going to be a team. I think Pittsburgh is a dangerous team now, very dangerous team now.
Right, and this game tells me a lot about other teams in our coverage area. Los Gatos, which hung with Pittsburgh for a long time at Pittsburgh. Wilcox, which went to Los Gatos and won. I mean, we've got some heavyweights in the coverage area. So anyhow, it was quite a weekend. Now we move into the section finals, where the winners of all of these games will move on to a NorCal regional next weekend, with the matchups being announced on Sunday. So we'll start with the NCS Division 7. This is going to be Saturday night. Joseph, you're going to be there at Hayward High School. We're Moreau Catholic at 8-4. The number 1 seed will be playing Ferndale at 11-1. It's going to be quite a trip for Ferndale come down here, right?
300 and was it 400? Some ridiculous number of miles. They just got to drive down 101. At least they can hop on the highway and drive down. But
all right. Well, my feeling is if you're going to make that kind of drive, you might as well go home with the W. As much as I've been impressed with Moreau Catholic this season, they've had a great year. I think their road ends here. I'm taking Ferndale to prevail in this game. Mike Lefkow, on the other hand, is saying Moreau is going to win. Christian, who do you have?
Yeah, well, I did a little research on Ferndale. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, the hometown of Guy Fieri. So I don't know if he's cooking for all these kids, but they are cooking on the football field. They beat my pick, Piedmont. I think it was 33-7 last week.
43-7.
43-7. Yeah. So that's a pretty good margin of victory. So I don't know how hard it was raining up there, but they really seem to be peaking at the right time. Joseph said they run an option, which is not, you don't see that much anymore. So I think I got to go with Ferndale with the way they're playing right now.
Ferndale. All right. Joseph, who do you have?
You know, my head is telling me Ferndale, but my heart is saying pick the Bay Area team that I'll be covering. So I'm going with the Bay Area team. You know, Ferndale, they look pretty big, and they do run that triple option. They can wear you down. But Moreau Catholic is a really balanced offense, and they have some really great athletes. So I'm going to go with Moreau Catholic. I think they win a high-scoring game.
Joseph, is that your heart or is that self-preservation with having to talk to all the
if I cared about self-preservation, I wouldn't pick against De La Salle half of these weeks and then go cover De La Salle. So
I mean, that's fair.
Nathan, is the Bay Area team going to win this game?
Yeah, I think so. I think Moreau, they have a lot of speed, and I think to combat a triple option, a physical team, you need speed. And I look at their quarterback. They had a receiver that's fast. Their running back is really good. Actually, a couple of running backs that are pretty good. So I think Moreau's speed is going to be the difference here. So I'm going to go with Moreau.
All right. The computer says Ferndale 35-19. That's Cal Preps' computer, not our computer. Do we even have? We don't have a computer.
no, we don't.
We need a computer.
Need a computer. Game 2 of 9 on the list, the NCS Division 6 final. This is going to be played Saturday at 1:00 at McKinleyville High School. I assume that's going to be a very long drive for Miramonte to go play the top-seeded Arcata team. Arcata is 11-1. Miramonte is 6-6. We've discussed Miramonte on this show. The Matadors were battle-tested in the DAL Foothill, which is an extremely tough league that has a couple teams in finals this weekend. But, man, I don't think the Bay Area team is going to come home with a win. I'm taking Arcata to knock off the Matadors. Lefkow's taking Arcata. Christian, do you agree with us?
Yes, I do. And in fact, I went back and looked at our section championship predictions. I think everyone but Lefkow had Miramonte, and I thought I might be out on an island flipping to Arcata. But you're on that island with me, Darren, so thank you.
I am.
Arcata's been really impressive. I think they've scored about 120 points in their last 2 games. And again, I don't know how much it was raining up there, but whatever the weather is, Miramonte is going to have to find out. It's about a 5-hour drive up there. I looked it up. So goodness gracious, that's a long way to go. And Arcata's a pretty good team. So
the NCS, I don't think the CCS has any 5-hour trips, right?
No.
From San Francisco to Kings. This is like crazy.
Yeah.
They almost need their own little pocket section up there, kind of like the Oakland section or the
We need like the Northwest section.
Yes.
Right, and the Northeast section for or they already have their northern section. Yeah. So, Joseph, who do you have?
You know, I picked I think like Christian said, I picked Miramonte to win the entire section. They have a bunch of very talented receivers, Andrew Bjornsson, Jack Cloneld, etc. I've seen Arcata play. They handled Oakland early in the season. Arcata's very good. But Miramonte's got talent, and I think they just have – I think they're a little bit faster or quite a bit faster than – Arcata's going to wear you down. I think Miramonte is going to outrun them. So they're going to make the trip up there and come away with another section title.
I do want to say that after seeing a couple of weeks, you can make adjustments from what you picked back 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, going into the playoffs. So
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to stick with. Since my picks for the section champions have just completely imploded. I didn't even look.
I don't believe in making adjustments. You got
No adjustments. You're going to
No
stick to your game
adjustments.
plan, and that's why
I'm like Darvin Ham. Okay,
that's why
no
you're
adjustments.
27 games out of first place in these.
Or you're like Kyle Shanahan, you know.
Oh, come on,
Nathan, is Miramonte going to make the 5-hour trip and then come home with the first place trophy?
I don't think so. I'm also going back on my pick. I think, you know, what gives me pause is they played Benicia last week. I think they only won 7-0, and Arcata has just been rolling. So as much as battle tested as Miramonte is, they're going up to, I think, a hostile environment in Arcata. I'm sure they're going to have a big crowd there. And I'm going to go with the team that's been putting up a bunch of points in this one. I'm going to go with Arcata.
Cal Preps' computer says Arcata wins 34-27. Next one on
What
the
does Left
list.
Cow go by the way? What does Left Cow pick?
Oh, he has Arcata. So Arcata for everybody but you,
I'm
Joseph.
the only one with conviction to stick with my pick.
No adjustments in his game plan.
No adjustments.
CCS Division 5 finals. This will be Saturday at McDonald High School in San Jose. Christian, you're familiar with McDonald High School, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I should shout them out. I don't remember if I did, but they got 4 wins this year. So that field is becoming a winner's field now. So fitting for a CCS title game.
There we go, where we've got Sequoia at 7-5 taking on Leland at 9-3. Both teams coming into this one having won 7 of 8. I went back and forth on this one, but the Peninsula teams they just have a little bit of an edge always over the South Bay teams. So I'm taking Sequoia to win this one in a very close game. Left Cow's taking Leland. Christian, who do you have?
Well, Joseph should be proud of me now because I'm going to stick with my original pick for the section. Sequoia, I think they, entered as the best team in this section. They've played well through the first 2 games. I've not seen them play in person. I have seen Leland. Leland is a good team. They struggle at times to throw the ball. So I think it will be a battle of 2 running teams. And I think Sequoia is primed to win this section.
Joseph?
I think Leland. I think Leland is going to win. I have no rationale for it other than they're hot. I know Sequoia is also hot, but look at their roster; they've got talent on it, and I think one of these BVAL teams has to win a title, right? So why not Leland?
Nathan, is the South Bay team going to win this game?
No. I looked on Frank Mem's coach at Sequoia. He was posting all over his Instagram this week of they're preparing, they're ready. So whenever a coach is pretty confident like that, I tend to go with him, and they've been really good. Jordan Crockett has been amazing ever since he's been back. So give me Sequoia in this game.
The computer Cal Prep says this is going to be a nail biter, and it has Sequoia winning 17-16. So. Next one on the list, CCS Division 4. This is going to be Saturday, 1:00 at San Jose City College. Christian's going to be there. Where Burlingame at 8-4 is going to take on Sacred Heart Prep, which has gotten hot, 6-6. I know somebody on this show picked Sacred Heart Prep to win the championship.
I did.
So you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
I am feeling pretty good about myself.
Do I even need to ask you who you've got?
Absolutely not. Go Gators.
Christian, are you on the Sacred Heart Prep bandwagon?
Yes, I have done the Florida or Louisiana thing or wherever that is, and I've adopted the Gators. So yeah, they've been playing well. I think their style is a good fit for this division and the way these playoffs have shaken out. If you want a team that's just going to run the ball a lot, they are a big team. They have big linemen, big backs. Maxime Morel, especially. I remember seeing him against Wilcox. He must be, I don't know, at least 220. Big guy. Tough to bring down. It's getting colder. Good time of year to be a good running team, and I think they're going to win this one.
Nathan, you said you were not into Cinderella or Disney stories last week, and man, you really rained on that parade because both of those coaches are now home for good at
Yeah.
Branham and Piedmont Hills. So is Sacred Heart Prep going to bring home the title?
I think so. I think just like their two water polo teams, I think they
Wow.
will be bringing home a title. I think, yeah, I agree with Joseph and Christian. I mean, just the offensive line, their big backs. It's going to be tough, I think, for any team to go up against a Sacred Heart team that's rolling right now, especially it's as battle tested as they are. So I think I got Sacred Heart Prep in this one.
With that said, if there's any team that has shown it can beat the Veer, it's Burlingame, because as we mentioned almost every week at this point, they somehow beat Wilcox.
They did.
I don't know how, but they did.
They beat Wilcox. I have Sacred Heart Prep winning too. Lefkow has Sacred Heart Prep, and the computer has Sacred Heart Prep winning 26-8. Next game on the list, Division 5, NCS Division 3. This is the 5th game on the list. Friday night at Las Lomas High, where Joseph is going to be. Is there going to be any flag planting in this game? I don't think so. On Las Lomas,
I would assume so. Whoever wins, I think
on Las Lomas's field. No,
I think it's going to be a tradition at this point.
I don't think the NCS would. I don't think there's going to be any flag planting.
Las Lomas just catching strays when they're not even in the game. That'd be
they're not even in the game. Nobody's going to plant to put a hole in Las Lomas's field. But man, this is quite a matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And a tough one to pick. Nathan, you can go first. Let's hear who you've got.
Yeah, so I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. I think second half, we talk about second half SI. I think playoff Campo is a thing, and they rise to the occasion. And they downed Sam Leandro last week. So, Kevin Macy has that group firing on all cylinders as of late, and that's kind of just the perfect thing you need when you're in a playoff run. So I got Campo. I think they have some, early New York Giants vibes to them. They just kind of figure out ways to win. So yeah, give me Campo.
Joseph?
I picked Acalanes to win the whole thing. I was there for the first matchup. Before the rain hit, Acalanes could not be stopped, and then the rain hit and everything stopped. I think Acalanes, provided the weather is good, with Winkles back and healthy, you got Nico White, you've got so much speed on the outside. Campo's a good team, but I think that Acalanes brings a different level of athleticism than Berkeley or San Leandro does.
Christian?
Yeah, I too am going to go with Acalanes. I think they're just, these teams have played good games recently. This will probably be another good game, but I just think Acalanes, like Joseph said, a little bit more well-rounded, a little more talented. And I think, neutral site, assuming the weather isn't crazy and, throws a wrench into everything, I think they just have a little more quality, and they're going to win this one.
By the way, just as a quick aside, we made such a big deal about the weather in last week's show, and we were proven right, because some of those scores I saw around the Bay Area, I was like, "Ooh, no one could score."
7-0, 10-7.
Three of our high-profile games were all 10-7. Lefkow's going Acalanes. I am with Nathan. I am going with Campo to win this game. If Campo had won the first game, I'd probably take Acalanes, but this is such a fierce rivalry, and I think Campo's playing a lot better since that game late in the season. I think it was November 1 when they played, so just a few weeks ago. But I just think Campo has found something. Whatever Kevin Macy found after that Acalanes game, it's clearly working, because they've not only won, they've won very impressively. So I'm taking Campo to win. The computer's saying Acalanes 24-21. So Nathan, you and I are out on an island on this one. So
we like it.
Well, the next one on the list, CCS Division 2 championship game. This is going to be played Saturday night at San Jose City, where Palma, a very storied program out of Salinas from the Central Coast section, going to be playing Wilcox, also a storied program in the CCS. Wilcox is the number 1 seed at 10-2. The quarterback situation kind of scares me at Wilcox, but I'm going to say that the rain was as much a factor in the 10-7 score last week as the missing quarterback who might not play because of his injury. Wilcox lost 2 championship games in a week last year on this same field, losing to Sarah, getting routed by Sarah and Los Gatos in back-to-back weeks. I don't think they're going to lose this one. I think they bring home the title. I'm taking Wilcox. Lefkow's taking Wilcox. Christian, who you got?
Yeah, well, I think it's worth bringing up. I know we talked about this a little bit, but it's kind of funny. The run Los Gatos has gone on. Wilcox beat them, but would you rather be the 1 seed in D2 or fighting for what's really going to be a battle in open D1? I think Wilcox realizes they have the opportunity to win a D2 title. And it's assuming Kai Imhara is not going to play, which I think is a pretty fair assumption based on the severity of the injury he suffered 3 weeks ago now. They've had 3 weeks for Braden Rosa and Adrian Garcia to get integrated into the offense. I think they sense this is a real opportunity for them, and they're going to get it done.
So you got Wilcox. Joseph, who do you got?
I have Wilcox as well. I doubted them earlier. Palma, they are the defending Division III champions. I believe they won a state. I don't believe I saw them win a state title last year at Pasadena City. So they are a storied program. But I think Wilcox are going to find a way to win, whether or not their quarterback is healthy.
Nathan, do you agree?
I agree. I was close to picking Palma just off the fact that, just how impressive their run has been so far. But I think Wilcox, I've been picking them, I think, pretty much all year. They're just a tough physical team. They wear on you. And I think they're going to do the exact same thing this Saturday. So I'm going Wilcox.
All right. And the computer says Wilcox will win 31-17. We've got 3 more games to go. This is NCS Division II Friday night at Dublin High School, where Bishop O'Dowd, Nathan saw them last week. Very impressive team at 10-2. Hardy Nickerson, shout out to him. What a job he's done this season with the Dragons. They're going to be taking on number 2 seed Amador Valley at 8-4, coming out of the EBAL. This was also a really, really tough game to pick. I went back and forth, but I think something's going on there at Bishop O'Dowd. I'm taking the Dragons to pull this one out and to win the section championship in Division II. Left Cow's going Amador Valley. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, well, as Nathan said last week, at the expense of possibly getting, flame emojied by a dragon on Twitter by Hardy Nickerson, I think this is AV's year. They were my pick. I believe they were your pick too, Darren. Is that right, originally?
I think so, and I think I switched.
Okay.
I think I there's something I had Liberty playing. I think I had Liberty playing Amador Valley, and seeing that the Dragons went on the road and won that game, I switched. Do you want me to switch back so it makes it? Because you could take the lead now. If Acalanes wins and Amador Valley wins,
that's true. You're opening the door here. No, I mean, you can stick with your pick however you want it. Yeah, I just think Tristan Tia, reading the reports of their playoff games, it sounds like he's kind of becoming Superman a little bit for them. They had a huge offensive game last week, even in the rain, which, as we talked about, a lot of teams have not done. So I think O'Dowd is a very good team, but this is kind of a special season for Amador Valley, and they have an opportunity to put the cherry on top this Friday.
Joseph?
Amador Valley might have Superman, but I guess Bishop O'Dowd is kryptonite. They've been going on this crazy run. I picked them to win, and I've been vindicated so far. They play, as Nathan stories describe it. It looks like a very old school, old-fashioned style of football. Control the clock, play defense, which is I think a good strategy against Amador Valley than trying to get into a high-scoring shootout with them. So. Yeah, I think the Dragons, flame emoji, dragon emoji here. I think they're gonna win a section title.
Nathan, you love Tristan Tia. Is he going to get it done, or are the Dragons going to pull this one out?
So full disclosure, right before the show, I wrote down I have Amador Valley winning because of Tristan Tia. But after hearing you guys, I think I'm flipping. I think, O'Dowd, it's a thing where O'Dowd, they beat Monte Vista twice this year. I've watched them play Liberty, and they beat them pretty well. I mean, it was close at the end, but they controlled the game through the entirety of that game. I think there's just something with Hardy Nickerson and having an all-decade defensive back as your head coach. And if there's anybody who's going to be able to put a stop to Tristan Tia, I think it's that guy. A guy who could read, who's paid to read quarterbacks at the NFL level. So, I think O'Dowd they're gonna slice up this game. They're gonna similar to what I think Sarah did to Folsom. They're gonna just hold the ball, and they're gonna play the possession game, and they're gonna bet on themselves to win it late, and they've proven that time and time again. So, I had Amador winning to start this day, but after hearing what everything that you guys said, I think I'm flipping. I got the Dragons in this one.
We got a flipper here. He flipped. All
Wait,
right.
Why? There's a little flip flopping going on out here.
Kristen, you want to flip?
No, I'm good. I'm on Tia Island over here. I'm good with my flip flops.
Well, Left Cow's also on that island, and so is the computer, which has Amador Valley winning 35-31. Two more games left. CCS Division 1 championship Friday night were Los Gatos. These are two storied programs in CCS, each with 16 section titles, most of any teams in CCS football history. Going to be going at it. Los Gatos at 10-2, trying to become, I think, the first team since Oak Grove, first public school team at least since Oak Grove, to beat 3 WCAL teams to win the championship. We've got Los Gatos, Oak Grove in 2015 beat Mitty, Valley Christian, and St. Francis to win that title. So this went quite a run for Los Gatos. St. Francis, on the other hand, Christian, you saw them last week. Can they bounce back after, what a heartbreaking loss. Do you think Greg Calcagno is going to be able to to get these guys ready to play a week later after that tough loss? That's a big question.
Yeah.
Big question.
No. As far as that question is concerned, I do think that they will be ready to play. I'm just not sure it's going to matter. Los Gatos is on a special run, and they've had great game plans in every game, of the playoffs. Even against Wilcox, a game they lost, I saw them. They had a good game plan. Things just kind of didn't go their way. I think Los Gatos has it figured out. Scotty Brennan is really starting to play really well. I think he had 300 yards last week. And, that complemented with their physical running game. Their defense has played great. They can't say no one believed in them this week. So I'm going with Los Gatos. I also must say, I said last week on the show, I would drink an orange beverage if they beat Reardon. So here's my anonymous orange beverage of choice with the black straw. So
orange beverage, black straw, Christian.
Yes.
On the Los Gatos bandwagon. Watching Crail's teams through the years, and including this season, watching them on the stream. This guy just must be like drawing plays up on a napkin. Because some of the things that they run are just so fun. It's like watching, like when you're kids and you're just trying to, hey, you go here, we'll hand it off here, you hand it off here, and you're going this way. Yeah.
I do love the shot. Doug Zimmerman, who is freelancing the game for us, got a great shot of Scotty Brennan on the sideline with Mark Crail. And Crail has this enormous, NFL size play sheet. And he's got some curveballs on there when they need it.
He definitely has some curveballs. Well, you're going with Los Gatos. I also am going with Los Gatos. I think the Cats have something special going on, and they've won, except for the game that Joseph saw last year. They've won a number of playoff games in a row, except for the state game. And I'm sure they want to get back there, right?
Well, they almost won that state game.
Right. It was like 45-44 or something like that, 45-42. I think Los Gatos, except for the Wilcox hiccup and obviously playing at Pittsburgh, it's been an unbelievable year for them. I think they go to 11-2, win the CCS Division 1 championship. Lefkow's got St. Francis winning. Nathan, who do you got?
I got Los Gatos. I'm getting back on the bandwagon. Just to be rearing the way that they did late. They've proven everything. I mean, yeah, we talked a little bit about how they hung close with Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is arguably now, I think it is pretty true, that the second best team in our coverage area. Los Gatos has everything rolling for them. They've taken their lumps. They lost Wilcox earlier this year, so they've been experienced. They've been battle tested, and I think in this game, they're gonna complete their run here, and they're gonna capture Division I title.
Joseph?
Nathan had to get back on the bandwagon. I've already been on it. I think I'm the only one who picked Los Gatos last week. So, yeah, I gotta go with the Cats again. And Mark Crail, he retired from teaching right at the beginning of the year.
Yes, he
So
did.
I mean, now he's got all the time in the world that he can draw up plays, and maybe he's like like Goku. He just unlocked another level of his Super Saiyan coaching.
So you got the Cats. Everybody's got the Cats except Lefkow. He's going with St. Francis.
St. Francis, we're giving you plenty of bulletin board material.
The computer has Los Gatos winning 26-21. We've reached the end of the show. We got one game left where it's the NCS Division I championship, where Nathan's going to be at Diablo Valley College on Friday night. I believe it's going to be a much drier Diablo Valley College than it was last week. The Pittsburgh Pirates going to be trying to bounce back just like St. Francis. They're going to be trying to bounce back to playing San Ramon Valley, which is 11-1. Doing research on this game, I mean, you cannot ignore that Pittsburgh hung with De La Salle and San Ramon did not hang with De La Salle this season. So that alone creates a gap that I think is too wide for me to pick San Ramon. I'm going Pittsburgh. Lefkow's going Pittsburgh. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, I believe when we did our section show, I said, in effect, watch out for SRV. And, I mean, they're a really good team. I think they're capable of giving Pittsburgh a good game. But Pittsburgh just seems to be on a mission. The way they played De La Salle, I mean, it sounds like it wasn't just a fluky rain game from what you guys are saying. Their line play was on point. And I think they realize they have a special senior group. And this is the opportunity to send them out on top and then, reach a NorCal game, get a shot at a state game. So I'm going with Pittsburgh. Give me the Pirates, who will not wilt, I predict, like the Pittsburgh Pirates always seem to do in Major League Baseball whenever they're in the postseason. So these Pirates are going to win.
Joseph, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not picking against the Pirates again. I think that I'm not going to predict a total blowout by the Pirates. I think they will handle SRV pretty easily, though. Something like 35-14 or something like that.
Easily.
Joseph, you're painting yourself into a corner again.
You hear that, Dan? Will? You hear that, San Ramon? He said easily. Is that what you said?
Yes, I did.
Nathan, are you going to go that far as to say it's going to be an easy game for Pittsburgh?
I won't go that far. Actually, I'm going to go farther. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be. I mean, I honestly, the way that Pittsburgh looked, and I know that they're not happy about how everything happened. And then I look at on the field. I think they're just going to have a lot of speed. There's a lot of speed San Ramon Valley has to keep up with. I think Marco Jones will be a big X factor, but I mean he can't cover 5 wide receivers. So I think Pittsburgh wins this in a big blowout. I think it's going to be like something like 42-7. I think it's going to be I think it's just going to be a complete mismatch on Friday, to be honest with you.
42-7 Pittsburgh.
You're going to hear about that from the SRV parents when you're out there at
I'm prepared.
Yeah, you're going to hear about it for sure. Christian, do you think it's going to be that bad?
No, I think it's going to be more competitive. I mean, first of all, even if Pittsburgh gets on a little bit of a run, I think, Charlie's not going to stick it to him. I don't believe there's any pre-existing bad blood there. So,
no.
And, San Ramon Valley, they're raised by wolves out there. Hashtag, Minnesota Timberwolves. So I think it's going to be a solid game, at least for, a half, 3/4. But I think Pittsburgh ultimately comes out on top.
I mean, I think this SRV team, they hammered St. Ignatius to open the season.
Yeah, no, they're a really good team. Now, as we've talked about, SI, congrats to them. They kind of can be a little up and down, but SRV is a really good team. Rhett Thompson's a great quarterback. Marco Jones, as we've discussed, probably the best player in our coverage area. And a good edge rusher can really wreck a game. So I think he's going to have some impact, even if it's not enough to win.
All right. Well, Los Gatos can no longer say, or at least can't say this week, that nobody believed in them, because most of us believed in them. It's not just the town. Although I think when they were referring to the town, I was like, well, Joseph's also from the town.
I am from the town.
He's from the town.
They're
from
one
a
town.
town over in Los Gatos. You're from the town.
Yes.
I've never heard the city of Los Gatos be referenced to as the town. That's
it's
that
actually technically a town. Yeah,
that's
a township. Yes, it's a town.
Call it the township then. Don't call it the town. Like, come on.
Yeah, maybe they're the township.
Also, since we're on extra buzzer beaters here, I am wearing the official Silver Bowl sweater that the OAL made. I was able to buy one of these. McClymonds wins their 15th consecutive Silver Bowl title to represent the town in NorCal in a few weeks.
There you go. Well, Bishop O'Dowd's also going to try to represent the town, and while Christian's enjoying his orange drink with his black straw.
Yeah, I got my orange Kool-Aid. I want to shout out, there was a Los Gatos. I don't know if they were a parent or just a fan, or they said they read our stuff all the time, love our coverage. So thank you guys. And we believe in you. I'm literally drinking the orange Kool-Aid right now. So you can't say we didn't believe in you. All right. This week we're on your side. Also, Joseph, you said, Nate, you were on the bandwagon first, although Nathan was the first one to pick Los Gatos in the playoffs. So let's be correct here.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll also say it's we talk about Mac and O'Dowd. I believe there was a year that Mac and O'Dowd won a state title at the same time.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, if history repeats itself, I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. All right. Well, that's a wrap. Check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. We'll have coverage all weekend. Plus, we have basketball previews coming out this week, soccer previews. We had water polo coverage over the weekend. We had volleyball coverage over the weekend. We're trying to spread our wings, stretch out, and cover as much as we can, right?
The grind never stops.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That is a wrap.